Are the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali corrupt? Can it free our people? We're going to find out. One thing we don't want in this debate, we don't want no personal attacks. We want to make sure that our brothers that step up here bring y'all some information. We don't give a damn about your in-house fight. Am I right or wrong, family? We don't want that. We don't want no in-house beef. We don't want to hear you punk motherfucker and you sissy mother. We don't want that. Am I right or wrong, family out here? We want some knowledge and information and inspiration so that we can continue to go home and do better and teach our family. So that's how we're going to give it up. Let's give it up for our brother. 5-minute opening in this round. Dr. Ali Muhammad, family. Give him a round of applause.
Peace. Hotep. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak to all those who are participating in the fast this month. Indeed, indeed. It's an honor to be here. I'm getting all things in the name of the Creator of all life. Giving honor to our ancestors, all the sages, prophets, prophetesses, everyone who has come before us to help us get to this particular moment so that we can aid ourselves in becoming a better people. I'm here tonight because I was invited to have this discussion, No More Lies. Are the teachings of Noble Drew Ali corrupt or basically a liberating force for our people? And in answering that question, I have two things to offer. The teachings of Noble Drew Ali are good for the people who are in the Moorish Science Temple who want to follow them. There's no problem with that. And to follow those to the best of your ability is cool. But we have a very adverse situation with the Moorish Science Temple of America. And that adverse situation is not something that operates totally within the Moorish Science Temple of America. It operates everywhere within our culture. And it is a behavior that we learn from white people. And that behavior is a compulsive, evangelistic attitude about attempting to convert someone to your particular leader. And that is the crust of my conversation. I have my foundation in the Nation of Islam, following, studying the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But I have never, one day in my life, attempted to force, over-convince, or get somebody to follow the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in an evangelistic, dogmatic fashion. And it is my position tonight that the Moorish Science Temple of America has become the most dogmatic group amongst the conscious community. I'm saying that because if you watch the behavior of those who are in the temple, then you will see exactly what I'm saying. But what I have not known is that that behavior stems from their teachers. And any of us who are part of an institution, organization, system, or whatever we are part of, who think that we have a monopoly on truth, have just closed our ears to the truth. And that is the problem that I have tonight, and that is what I'm here to discuss. I'm also here to offer a better perspective on how we should approach our people in these particular organizations and institutions, because the MST of A is not the only institution that does that. The very institution that I came up in, the Nation of Islam, has become dogmatic and attempting to force people to accept a culture that they don't identify with. Even though the foundation of the teachings doesn't prescribe that, people have adopted that attitude. If I practice Ifa, I don't want to wear a goddamn vest. If I practice Palo or another tradition, don't call me something other than civilized, because you don't understand my way. So the question was posed in the supreme wisdom: who is the original man, encompassing the man and the woman? Because all across the planet, we only have one problem, and if you don't get this, you will never get anything. The one problem that we have on this planet is the white race. You might not agree. You might think that you're white because you're wearing a vest. You might believe that the teachings that you're advocating are sound legally, sound historically, sound in every way you can imagine. But I'm here to tell this brother today that his teacher made severe flaws. Severe flaw number one is he acted as if a mystery God taught him and did not reveal to his students where he got his information from. He was not the first Moor to teach about Moorish history. He was not the first to advocate nationality. And because we are evangelistic, coming up out of Christianity, as soon as somebody stands up and says they're a goddamn prophet or messenger, we fall right in line with the Jesus syndrome. The prophet said, the prophet said. What do you have to say about it? Do you have a brain? Do you have a mouth? Was Prophet Noble Drew Ali infallible? Are you going to take the doctrine in so-called 2013 and become a functional person from a doctrine that's 80, 90 years old without the ability to adopt that particular thing to something that's systematic today? That's the evangelistic mindset that I want to go into. Let's see if we can get to these particular points. Check it out. The MST of A, in my position, is not a nation based on the words of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, even though y'all presuppose to the public that y'all are a nation. It is a chartered religious organization. Its members are citizen subjects of the United States. All evidence shows Drew was a Mason. He was a student of Edward Wilmot Leiden, the works of the Moorish Science Temple in Newark. He was associated with the ancient Egyptian Arabic order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine via Dr. Prince de Solomon, aka Abdul Hamid Suleiman. He did not have a proper knowledge of the law. He plagiarized and copyright infringed 2 books to write his fake Quran. Drew said his organization derived its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad, yet Drew's histories, he gave theology, he gave and concepts all conflict with the Quran. Drew unrighteously made connections with criminal politicians, and Daniel McKee Jackson, the most notorious gangster in Chicago during the time, Drew Ali violated 2 young girls by engaging them at the age of 14 and 16. This is the history. Now, all of us have issues. We all are imperfect and a work in progress. But don't present to us that fake Jesus syndrome, and then we know the record says this, because you better be glad that I'm bringing it out, because if it hits CNN, you'll be like the Nawabis. Assalamu alaikum.
Let's give it up. Let's give it up. You do better than that. That's just the opening. That's just the opening. It's gonna get better. That's just the opening right here. Let's put our hands together for another strong soldier coming out of Atlanta. Okay. You need that for your opening round?
Yeah.
Come on, you gotta do something. I gotta switch that up real quick. I'll show it out. No, this one's really on you, because you're the debater.
Yeah, but
You can flash drive. You want a flash drive? I'm not going to save it to my computer. I got a flash drive.
it's not on the flash drive, it's on the computer.
I got a flash drive. I have a flash drive. I can put it on the flash drive, put it in so you don't have to keep switching.
All right, y'all gotta do this quick, because y'all can't cut into the white time.
First, I want to say that I rise giving all praise to Allah and the highest of honors to His holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I extend those honors to the harbinger and forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I extend honors to all true and divine prophets, and I extend honors to you all, for when man honors man, he honors his Father God Allah. The great meeting is on, Moors, and I stand here today in defense of Prophet Noble Drew Ali against a brother whom I feel has been slandering the man all for his own gain. The brother made some points that he threw up on the screen that you all are wholly ignorant of, and he knows this, and he plays on your ignorance. But I come today to show and prove that everything that this man is going to put up here will be debunked. My presentation is locked tight. You know, I just got to say, brother, you're going to get this work today. That's it. You're going to get this work today. There will be no more disrespecting the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. There will be no more disrespecting of our elders, period. No more. I will show and prove that Prophet Noble Drew Ali's organization, the Moorish Science Temple of America, represents a nation. I will show and prove that the teachings that he brought to our people, that these teachings are 100% all wise, right, and exact. While doing that, I will show and prove that my opponent doesn't know what he's talking about at all. And he's going to throw a hodgepodge of information up there to, give you all a good chuckle and a good laugh, but it's not going to be scholastic. It's not going to be sound at all. It's going to be weak, and I'm going to prove that. After he goes, I go. And after I go, you'll be able to look back at his presentation and say, yeah, that brother Ali do seem like he was making that stuff up. And we're going to prove this here today. So I'm going to yield the rest of my 5 minutes to let the brother come on, do his thing while we work out our issues with our laptop. And with that, I say peace.
Peace. Let's give it up for Dr. Ali Muhammad. Round 1. 30 minutes in this round, brother.
Peace. All right. Hopefully that brother gets his situation worked out. Because if not, it's going to be a problem. I'm praying for you, brother. It's the spirits that's walking around you or something that's, going berserk. Ancestors in the building. All right, let's first deal with the myths. We have to destroy the myths. Let me say something, first of all. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother to this community, and everybody knows my history. The good, the bad, the ugly. All right? You can research Elijah Muhammad's history. Good, bad, ugly. Mr. Garvey, all the greatness and then the questions, and you can get everybody. Who in the hell knows about Noble Drew Ali besides Noble Drew Ali? This man went to his grave hiding his history. No biography. Then, because of that, his evangelical students decided to create biographies. One that don't exist. The first one, Exhibit A. How many of you have ever heard the Moors come to tell you that Prophet Noble Drew Ali went to Cuba in 1928 to put our status on the record, possibly get a land grant, and all of that stuff that they talk about? You heard that? Nobody ever heard that? Well, some of this is being taught. It is taught in the Moorish Science Temple, not necessarily directly from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but by his adherents, that in 1928 he went to the Pan American Conference and put our Moorish status on the record, and by doing that, he pretty much set up a nation for us. This is the report of the delegates of the United States of America to the 6th International Conference of the American State, held in Havana, Cuba, January 16 to February 20 of 1928, with the pen. Taj Tariq Bey, Ras Mariah, all of y'all from this day on are going to have to stop saying that. Because right here are all the delegates from the United States of America: Charles Hughes, Noble Brandon Judah, Henry P. Fletcher, Oscar W. Underwood, Dwight W. Morrow, Morgan J. O'Brien, James Brown Scott, Ray Lyman Wilbur, and L.S. Rowe. Not only did they say it, Abba said it in his book. Now, he never took the time to research whether it was the truth or not, and he calls me the myth maker. I'm the myth maker. Noble Drew Ali never went to Cuba, family. There's only one Noble up there, and it ain't him. And his name ain't Noble Brandon Judah, because that's Noble Brandon Judah. So, scratch. Hey, if you ever hear that again, refer back to this lecture and put the Moors in detention. Next, they talk about Noble Drew Ali. See, we have to read as a people and study. They talk about Noble Drew Ali as if he's the first one to ever discuss nationality amongst our people. And that is the foundation of their argument against us, that nobody talked about nationality. So therefore, Noble Drew Ali came to save our people, because he talked about the most integral subject, which is nationality. Here is Edward Wilmot Blyden in 1867. Noble Drew Ali was a negative 19 years old. Here he is, quote, an African, this is before Garvey, before anybody. Garvey studied him. Noble Drew Ali studied him. Now, Elijah Muhammad had to study this particular man because he set out a world precedent for people of African descent to discuss the issue of nationality and nation building. Wow. And African nationality is our great need, and God tells us by his providence that he has set the land before us and bids us to go up and possess it. And African nationality is the great desire of my soul. I believe nationality to be the ordinance of nature. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
And no people can rise to an influential position among the nations without a distinct and efficient nationality. Speech at Liberia's offering, July 26, 1867, and also can be found in this book, Elwood Wilmot Blyden and the Racial Nationalist Imagination. Look at what he goes on to say. Nationality is an ordinance of nature. The heart of every true Negro yearns after a distinct and separate nationality. Distinct and separate. Not one you saying you got a nationality, but then you telling me I'm a citizen, too, of the very entity that enslaved you. So that's double talk. Oh yeah, I'm reading you nationality, but see on the back of the card you was still a United States citizen. We shall never receive the respect of other races until we establish a powerful nationality. We should not content ourselves with living among other races simply by their permission or their endurance as Africans live in this country in America. A well-established African nationality is the most direct and efficient means of securing respectability and independence of the African race. How come you got to come and tell us that the great God Allah told you that? Why can't you just say, I studied with my life? I read his books, he's a great man. See, that's what real men do. They give credit to the elders who came before them. Not a goddamn mystery God. The great Allah revealed nationality. Alright, here he is right here. He was a Secretary of State of a foreign nation and still here domestic trying to get us to come back to the continent, do business, have some status. This is in the 1800s. Now, next. The Moorish Science Temple was in Newark, New Jersey since 1899. Noble Drew Ali says he was in Newark. Do you think by chance that he happened to stumble across the Moorish Science Temple before he was calling himself a Moor? Or did Allah, the Great Spirit, reveal it to him? Here it is from the source, Encyclopedia of African American History, 1896, the present, edited by Paul Finkelman. Another early leader, Rabbi Leon Richelieu, established the Moorish Science Temple of Brooklyn in 1899. So now you have a man who was teaching about nationality 26 years before Noble Drew Ali shows up on the scene. Wow. See, they tell you Noble Drew Ali showed up in 1913 with no records. Hearsay. But he shows up in Chicago in 1926, and we're going to show you why they're not telling you. Here's another one of his possible teachers. I won't say he's a possible teacher, he's an actual teacher. But his name is Sheikh Ahmeddin. He started the Fahim Temple. This man was a Muslim, calling himself the Prophet of Amun-Ra. In 1919. This is him when he joined the Ahmadiyya movement, which was also a movement of Indians coming over to the Americas to try to teach the people in the Americas Islam. And Bashir is up here, they always tag teaming me. What's up with this debate and tag team? I can never debate one person. Alright? But this is Sheikh Ahmeddin. Teaching Islam, teaching about Egypt, no Prophet Noble Drew Ali on the scene. Do you think he happened to come across his brother in St. Louis, in New Jersey, in Brooklyn, and all the places that he was at? Look, here he is, a convert to Ahmadiyya. This is him in the fez, all right? This is him wearing the fez before Noble Drew Ali. No Noble Drew Ali at this time. I want him to prove to you with documentation that Noble Drew Ali taught somebody in 1913. Not with no hearsay, not no hadith, not so-and-so said, put on her. I want some certificates, I want something. Because they bring up all these documents and affidavits all the goddamn time, and y'all can't pull up nothing when somebody want to find out your origin. Now, straight from the Circle 7 Quran, the reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of who? India. This is one of the Muslims of India. Alright? Muhammad Siddiq, who was a follower of Misra Ghulam Ahmed, the Messiah of the Ahmadiyyas, from India. So now, are these the Indians that taught you, but you won't say it directly? You won't say I was an Ahmadiyya, I studied with the Ahmadiyyas. Instead, you say the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine gave you the records in the Circle 7. But actually, that might not be true either. You might have got that secondhand. Alright? Now, here's Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Egyptian adept student. They have no date on it. It says he was in Newark, and it says he's the Egyptian adept student. Student of who? Who did you study from? Why don't you say I'm the Egyptian adept student of Nothing about I'm a prophet. Not even a fast. So I'm trying to show you that he grew in his knowledge. But instead of saying I grew in my knowledge, you said the Great Spirit revealed to me everybody was allowed out to me. Show your development. The people want to connect with real people. They don't want nobody flying off a goddamn spaceship saying they're from the planet Risk. So Abba has a tendency to follow people who say spooky things. He started out with Dr. York saying he was from planet Risk, then he jumped to this guy. Will he be a Jehovah's Witness next? I mean, where are you going to go, brother? Now, also in this, it's very important to highlight that he says he can cure tuberculosis and other things. I'm going to show you he died of tuberculosis. How the hell are you going to heal somebody of tuberculosis and you died of tuberculosis? That's like me, I'm a naturopath. If I come in here with a big ass stomach and say I got cancer, but I got a cancer treatment, what the hell are you going to say to me? I'm not buying that. Spook medicine. But why did he get away with it? He got away with it because he hid behind the word prophet. And he knew how people were spooked out as hell. This is what we call in the Nation of Islam the 10%. The rich, slave makers of the poor. I'm cool. Who teach the poor lies. To believe that the almighty true and living God is a spook in the sky can't be seen by the physical eye. Come on! This is what this is. This is a system of not identifying people with their own development. And this is why we have to get rid of monopolistic leadership who does not get elected in by people. Because they stay their whole goddamn life, and then they tell people what to do, and then when they die, the whole goddamn organization dies. The secret ritual of the secret work of the ancient Arabic order of nobles of mystic shrine. Now, we all come from our mother's womb knowing nothing, right? How did Prophet Noble Drew Ali come to know to use the terms prophet and noble? Did his mama teach him? Did his daddy teach him? Who was using those particular terms of vernacular before him? If we find people using those terms before him, all he had to say was, yeah, I stepped down to the lodge a little bit and learned some things, or even signed up. Instead, we got to go to this book and prove that when you become a Shriner, one of the posts inside of the office is Imperial High Priest and Prophet. That's one of the posts. Where did he learn it from? And these are nobles of the mystic shrines? These are white people. William J. Florence? Yes. These are white people who formed this in 1872. Then our so-called brothers came on in 1894 doing following these white folks into their shrine. What is shrine about? Is it in this context when it was in this indigenous history? Hell no. Go show me some Shriners in the hood changing the conditions of black people. Come on. They're not here. Where are they? They had some goddamn ball wearing some regalia that they don't understand. At barbecues, eating pork fried ribs. Now, I know you tried to get me on this point to say that this man is not a teacher of Noble Drew Ali. But he came here, this is from the Schoenberg Museum, August 26, 1922, the Chicago Defender says this about this particular man. It's my position that this man was Noble Drew Ali's teacher. I'm going to strive my best to prove that. Abdul Hamid Suleiman, Sharif of Mecca, who attended the Masonic Convention in Washington, D.C., August 6 to 12, and who delivered to the illustrious Caesar R. Blake, Jr., Imperial Potentate, ancient Egyptian Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine of the USA, the warrant which brings his nobles of the mystic shrine under the protection of the Mecca Medina temple of the ancient and free and operative Masons from 1 to 96 degrees. They're saying that this man came to the Prince Hall Shrine and they signed some type of agreement of warrant to bring the Prince Hall Shrine under his tutelage. Who the hell was this man? That he could come to a whole body of people and say, come on, I got you. And 1 to 96 degrees, any Masons in here? You know what that is, right? 1 to 96 degrees came from Memphis, Michigan. That's white folks. He has signed 2 dispositions for cases instituted, one in Texas and one in Little Rock, Arkansas, and is the only Arabian in the United States of America to come to the defense of the Shriners. They say they got some type of authority from Arabia. They get sued sued in court by the white order to stop them from using whatever they use. This is the only person that came to their defense. Nobody came from Egypt, Arabia, nobody else but him. So when they say John Jones got a charter from Rochelle Pasha or whoever it is, how the hell they come and say, okay, well, no, this is authentic? He came, and look, this is from Ancestry.com, the 1920 census. His name at the time was Prince de Solomon, right here. Abba said this in his book, all right? He's in Mercer, Pennsylvania, 1920, and take a look at him. Where is he from? I need that clicker, bro. I gotta show this. There you go. Where is he from? He's from Egypt. Look, this is on the census. Look, he's from Egypt. Now, Prophet Noble Ali said he went to Egypt. No records. But we do have an Egyptian coming and started the Canaanite temple. I'm going to prove that from newspaper articles. Now, the Moors teach us that they started the Canaanite temple in 1913, and Prophet Noble Ali started that. However, the newspaper clippings of the time say this man started the Canaanite temple. I'm just saying, maybe Abba got some records to prove that in 1913 Prophet Noble Ali started the Canaanite temple. Otherwise, we are only left to the conclusion that somebody came from Egypt. We don't know why he came from Egypt. We don't know who sent him, and he coming with white men's masonry to teach black people. Whoa. And we gotta understand what masonry is all about. Look, what's his tongue? Arabic. The census people said he spoke Arabic. I didn't make this up. You can check this information. All right? So, look, converts sought by Mohammedans make special drive amongst Negroes of U.S. Dr. Hamid Suleiman, a native of Arabia, of 143 West 130th Street at Manhattan, the high priest of Mecca, for a number of years has inaugurated a movement for spreading Mohammedanism among the Negroes of the United States. A number of Muslim groups have been started, particularly one in Newark, New Jersey, under the name of the Canaanite Temple. I'm just saying. They put it in. I didn't put it in there. Now, maybe Noble Ali was around. All we need is some evidence. All these newspaper clippings are right down the street at the Schoenberg. Y'all want to take a break and give Abba some time to go to Schoenberg? You need some time. You can get my 30 minutes so you can go see if this is true. All right? So he's doing all kind of other stuff. Now look at him. Look at his regalia. Look. Isn't he wearing the same thing that the white folks wear? Fact. Mecca. Fact. The crescent in distress. The sword, which means he's keeping secrets. But who sent him over here? Why did he just all of a sudden come from Egypt and say, I want to come and teach these people? He's not wearing what the Mahdi of the Sudan wore. The Mahdi of the Sudan wore turban. He got the regalia of the Egyptians who invaded the Sudan. Come on. Same thing. Other articles. Alright? So they started temples. Look, these are different newspapers now. This man was making press. 1922, New York Tribune. Let's go back. That's the New York Tribune. That's 1922. Alright? This one was the New York World, the Sharif of Mecca, Chicago. How is Chicago covering him? New York is covering him. That means the man was moving around. The press knew about him. So if Noble Ali came and started it, why are they not talking about him in 1922 or 23? Where are the articles on him in 1922 or 23? Where are the articles in 1916, 1919, 1913? All these myths y'all made up, just bring one. Just bring one. They don't exist. They don't exist. Alright? And what was his title? He was a what? He was a minister. So he was using religion again as a way to communicate with the people. Alright. So we got a whole bunch of stuff. Now, this is important. How much time I got left? 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Oh, good. Good. Listen. Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, in their literature that I just showed you, have one primary agenda, and this is it. Page 8 and 9. You can get the book, you can download this on Scribe or online for free. In the internet, beautiful, they can't hide it. They can't put it in the depth chamber like, no, we can blame God. It's available online. Look at what it says. Those of the members of the Masonic order who desire to advance and gain admission in this sublime rite of the mystic shrine are required to take a solemn vow that they will redouble their courage, zeal, and determination to defend and advocate the Christian religion. Now, Noble Drew Ali said he was giving Christianity back to the European. I'm going to show you that that was some type of trick, because everything about his organization was Christian, except the name Islamism. Come on. And they are to protect the honor and character and reputation of nobles of the mystic shrine, wherever they may be. So, is Noble Drew Ali the greatest plagiarist of the 20th century? And copyright infringement. Since y'all study the law, you know plagiarism is an academic term and copyright infringement is a legal or lawful term. So now let's flip the law back on y'all. Since y'all like to say we Negroes, blacks, and colors and we don't know what we're talking about, let's see if y'all know what y'all talking about. Let's see if your teacher knows. Why? Because he copied his entire literature from two authors without giving them credit. See, you could have came and said, I got this from Levi Dowling, and I got this from Harvey Spencer Lewis. But you didn't do that. You didn't give them no credit. That's plagiarism. All right? Plagiarism and copyright infringement. He then had the nerve as a Muslim to call this plagiarized literature a Quran. So the Quran is holy to Muslims. Muslims are jihad your ass over the Quran. So now you're going to come to America and put your people in jeopardy from two crackers and put them out in the public? What kind of goddamn responsible prophet is that? Who would do that? Plagiarize, the act or instance of copying or stealing another's words or ideas and attributing them as one's own without permission. Copyright infringement, the act of violating any of the copyright owner's exclusive rights granted by federal copyright. Got the sources there. So you can see, Unto Thee I Grant is copyrighted in 1925 by the Oriental Literature Syndicate. They copyrighted it in 1925. He didn't, that means he could not have written the Circle 7 until after 25. That's why he didn't show up on the scene. Follow the chronology I'm giving you now. He's talking about 1913. He wasn't even on the scene until after 25 because he had to write the Circle 7 Quran. All right? All right. Check it out. Let's see if I can get to it. All right. Circle 7 Quran, Unto Thee I Grant. I'm just want you to get a screenshot of this because I want to go into it. But these are the word-for-word copy chapters. Unto Thee I Grant and Circle 7, chapter 20 matches book 3, chapter 21 matches book 3, chapter 22 matches book 4. I'm going to show you that he just edited out words. But he was at such a rush to edit out the words, he forgot to edit out something, and it's going to be so embarrassing when I show the slide. I want everybody to take a moment of silence. Get on your 7. Get on your 7. Because this is going to be embarrassing. Look, this is Circle 7, chapter 20, part 6 and 7. What does it say? But when virtue and modesty enlighten her charms, and the luster of a beautiful woman is brighter than the stars of heaven, the whiteness of her bosom transcended the lily. Her smile is more delicious than a garden of roses. He got up in the Circle 7 Quran, which is supposed to be for Muslims, the whiteness of the breast of a white woman. He forgot to put olives, or whatever they say, for their color. He was so fast with it. Like, I gotta hurry to get this book out. And the nigga skipped over white. Now I want you to explain it. Go make some shit. Go make it up. I know you're gonna do it. He said, the lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity, as I am a prophet, and the servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive this pamphlet at expense. Then he said they're from these particular people, and they read these secrets up. We already went over this. The Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine, goddamn, you couldn't find one African Muslim to give you some literature? Timbuktu? Come on, man. Ahmed Baba? I mean, all these great scholars from Africa. You had to jump all the way over to Africa to land your ass in India to get some secret lessons. 5 minutes. This is embarrassing. So, this is who he copied. Harvey Spencer Lewis wrote Unto Thee I Grant, and he was the head of Amor, ancient mystical order of Rose Cross. You see him with the little Jewish stars up there. Even though that's our symbol. This is him. This is who he stole from. Levi Dowling. This is who he stole from. All right? Levi Dowling claimed that he had the lost 18 years of Jesus' history. All right? Look. The genealogy of Jesus with 18 years of the events, life, and works of teachers in India. So Dowling said he had the secret history, 18 years lost. Then Drew Ali said he had, because he copied his ass. All right, these events occurred before he was 30 years of age. The lessons of the pamphlet is not for sale, blah, 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 blah. Then he had the nerve to put all authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet of 1927 by the prophet. How the hell are you going to put a copyright on something you copyright infringe? This is a prophet of God. This is the actual Indian Persian who created the Jesus from India history. This is Bashir's teaching. It's all right. That's your teacher, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's your teacher. Now, he forgot to tell you that the first Messiah was black. He skipped over that, made himself the Messiah, when all over Luxor, all over Africa, we got all these goddamn Messiahs. Women and men. So a damn Persian jumps into your lap and tells you he's the Messiah. Then your prophet copies it. That's why y'all together over there. What's the difference? What's the difference? That's teaching for a day. The Jesus your grandma got on her goddamn wall. What's the difference? The Muslims from India have revealed these secret lessons. This is embarrassing. Look, all we citizens of the USA, I'm going to save this for the second part. How much time I got? You got 4 minutes. 4 minutes? Oh, I can go into it a little bit right now. This is the legal doctrine. I hope y'all understand that this stuff is bogus. First of all, he's a copyright infringer and a plagiarist. That's a fact. Because if he would have gave the people credit, I would have nothing to say about it. Nothing. Nothing. He could have said, yo, I got this from these dudes and it's good for it. Great. Cool. Imagine me. Now, Alva, if I wrote a goddamn book and I copied Elijah Muhammad and Marcus Garvey and put race first document word for word and message to the black man and call it my own, you know you'd be tearing my ass up. Right. You know it. So are you able to say that your prophet copyright infringed somebody's work? Can you say it? Are you allowed to, or with a spook guard strike you down like you struck your table down in your presentation? For thinking as a man? Is he gonna curse you? Hell no, he ain't gonna curse you. You gotta come out of this, brother. You said that I had to wear a fast for 6 months. If I lose, you already lost. So I'm gonna make you do something, I'm gonna make you pick up periods or something. I don't know. We gotta do something to look, are we citizens of the USA? Noble Drew Ali said we are citizens of the USA in the sense of capital C, natural born citizens. Not 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment stuff. He said that's our reality. I'm going to prove in the second part that the legal doctrine and the history of the Moorish Science Temple, as we say in the streets, is fruitgazing. It's fruitgazing. And for them to dogmatically advocate for our people as the sole solution when we can't even get past copyright infringement, says that y'all got to reassess y'all strategy. There's nothing wrong. We don't want y'all to lose y'all. We want to keep y'all. We don't want the business to come off. But goddamn, you can't go before the world and embarrass us by saying you got the solution and then some cracker get on CNN and then knock down the whole group. You got to be able to revamp it. Every doctrine that we have from our teachers needs to be revamped, upgraded. And if we're not going to do that, then we need to go back to the goddamn church. Hallelujah. Hey now, I hope the great God Allah put your presentation together.
I came here to teach you today because the topic of this debate is, can the Moorish Science Temple of America save our people? Are the teachings of Noble Drew Ali right and exact? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the rebuttals. Go to the first slide. We do not have membership records at headquarters that date back to that time. So where's Ali getting his information from? Each Shriner's temple keeps their own membership records. However, based on Prophet Noble Drew Ali's fez, it does not look the same as the fez worn by the AANOMS Shriners, which would normally have the temple name on it and the Shriners emblem. So when he's putting pictures up there of Hamid Suleiman saying that this is Noble Drew Ali's teacher, we can clearly see that this is a lie. And today the facts represent the lie detector test. And the facts have determined, my brother, that your claim that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was a member of the Shriners organization is a lie. Next slide, please. Let's go to the next one. Now, we contacted the brother Patrick Bowen, who wrote the Hamid Suleiman piece, where Ali Muhammad, as y'all call him, got his information from. And I want to read this to y'all. He said, first of all, I should say that you are right. As I stated in my article, I know there is not enough evidence to make any claims with absolute certainty about Suleiman's relationship with Drew Ali and the original Canaanite temple. That's where the mythmaker got all of his slides from this particular demonstration. My reason for giving my scholarly opinion on the subject, however, was to both highlight the fact that other scholars have accepted the traditional Canaanite temple narratives with almost no attempt to find supporting non-oral evidence, and to be deliberately provocative in order to stimulate new research in the area. And this is exactly what happened. Brothers like Sharif Bey and Ali's men have since been in contact with Patrick Bowen, and you can pretty much say he's writing for us now. Go to the next slide. I can skip the rest of this. Okay. Let's start from here. I believe that it would take many motivated researchers to actually produce strong evidence about the Canaanite temple. I hope that my article and provocative statements would lead to a small renaissance of interest in research into the early years of the MSTA, which would help me, as a scholar of Islam in America, to have a firmer understanding of the birth of one of the most important Islamic movements in history. So basically what he's saying is that I gotta pick a fight with these guys. I gotta see what they'll pull out because I do not have enough information. This man has to build his organization up. This is how he makes his living. He feeds y'all misinformation and y'all pay him for it. Literally pay out of y'all pockets to this man. Go to the next slide. To conclude, I am well aware that my opinion that Suleiman possibly started the original Canaanite temple cannot be supported by the existing evidence, and I look forward to reading about new hard evidence that you or any researcher may find. I invite you to keep me updated about your work or to talk with me about possibly trading copies of Red Document. You see, this is the man who wrote the article that the mythmaker got, and that he's using the pictures from and trying to draw this information from. I mean, this is a simple rebuttal. Again, the lie detector test has shown and proved that your point about Noble Drew Ali being taught by Hamid Suleiman or Hamid Suleiman starting the Canaanite temple is a lie. Next. Okay, now he spoke about, oh wait, go next. This is when I contacted the OAS library about Prophet Noble Drew Ali and C. Kirkman Bey, who attended the 6th annual conference of Americas in 1928 in Havana, Cuba. Let's read what the librarian said. She said, in response to your request, I am sorry to tell you that there is no index on the speakers to the 6th International Conference of American States, Havana, Cuba, 1928. I browsed the volumes corresponding to the minutes of the conference, looking for the information you requested, but I didn't find any mention to Drew Ali or C. Kirkman Bey. But peep what she said. We do have in the library several materials related to the conference of your interest, mostly in Spanish. Some of them, not all, were translated into English. So when he stands up here in front of y'all and puts this list of delegates, most of y'all don't know what a delegate is. If I send members of my temple to go to another temple or another organization, that means I delegated them the authority to speak for me and on behalf of my temple. And these men or these women, they represent delegates. Why would the United States of America send no Drew Ali as a delegate when they already have their own Secretary of State. They already have their own diplomatic representative. So the fact today, being the lie detector test, has shown and proved that your claim is simply false. As the woman said, there's no index of the speakers. So you cannot, nor did you prove that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was not at the conference. Next slide. Yes, sir. Okay, this is from the Moorish Guide. This is August 24, 1928. Tricks of the Prophet. This is while Prophet Noble Drew Ali was still walking among the people. It says, the Trips of the Prophet, the conference that was held in Havana, Cuba, January 1926, was attended by the Prophet, who went in the conference and connected the Moors of North America back to the Asiatic brothers and sisters in Cuba. The Prophet made the tour, the rest is unintelligible. And then it talks about all the trips Prophet Noble Drew Ali made to Mexico, to Brooklyn, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, etc., etc. So again, the facts stand here today as a polygraph. And you are saying that the Prophet never went to Cuba. I gotta say that's a lie. Your facts don't bear out. We have the records to show and prove. I don't gotta make the people laugh. I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to teach. Next slide. Next slide. Next. Okay, now let's get to the topic. Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us in Acts 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Again, people, I am not here to entertain you. I'm simply here to teach you. Next slide. Their biblical laws is what was used to enslave us. I have videos, I have blogs that are up right now. Go to my YouTube channel, Lord Abba 9, where you can see me showing and proving through the historical records how the Moors and the Moabites are one, synonymous throughout history. And in the European Bible, it says, there shall be no more praise of Moab. In Heshbon, they have devised evil against it. Come and let us cut it off from being a nation. Also, thou shalt be cut down, O madman, the sword shall pursue you. We know that this is exactly what happened to us when our nationality was stripped and we were given these slave labels. Slave brains. Next slide. Now, let's look up the definition of nationality, because my opponent doesn't know what it means. Nationality, the quality or character which arises from the fact of a person's belonging to a nation or a state. Nationality determines the political status of the individual, especially with reference to allegiance, while domicile determines his civil status. Nationality arises either by birth or by naturalization. According to Savini, nationality is also used as opposed to territoriality for the purpose of distinguishing the case of a nation having no national territory. This means that a nation is not defined by any geographical boundaries. A nation is identified by a historical continuity. Go to the next slide. And we read, as it's giving us the breakdown, one of the things that it says is possessing historic continuity and distinguished from other like groups by their racial origins and characteristics, and generally, but not necessarily, living under the same government and sovereignty. So it is clear that if you want to understand what nationality is, that you have to look up the definitions of it. You can't just listen to me, or you can't just listen to a brother like Ali. Go to the book yourself and just simply see what nationality means. Next clip. Now, one of the things that nationality represents is a jural society. A jural society is another name for a nation. Let us read what Black's Law 5th says. Jural, pertaining to natural or positive right, recognized or sanctioned by positive law, embraced within or covered by the rules and enactments of positive law, founded in law, organized upon the basis of a fundamental law and existing for the recognition and protection of rights. The term jural society is used as the synonym of state or organized political community. When Prophet Noble Drew Ali established the Moorish Science Temple of America, and he went to various states establishing these temples, each temple represented a state in and of itself. They say organization cannot be a nation. Well, if you look at the Palestinian Liberation Organization over in Palestine, they have been recognized as a nation since 1972, and just have been recognized as a true Moorish nation on this land. Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. Hit play on that. Come out the slideshow and hit play.
You gotta probably put the mic through the speaker. Yeah, you gotta
put audio.
You ain't bring your speakers with you?
All right, we having some technical difficulties over here. Nevertheless, go back to the next slide. No.
Turn down the heat as soon as the owner comes. Sorry about that.
Oh, I thought that was just black folks.
It's not good.
Time is rolling.
Apologies, everybody. We're having some technical difficulties. And for whatever reason, the audio won't play and my slideshow will not come back up. I would still like to stand up here and just simply show and prove. One of the things that the brother said on the December 2nd lecture was that naturalization had nothing to do with nationality. A brother challenged him on it. I know y'all all seen it, where, the myth maker said, I'll give you $20 if you can simply show and prove. And the brother got up there and he showed and proved that, he showed and proved, go to the naturalization. He showed and proved that the brother was wrong. He simply got up there and simply proved that this man is wrong because he does not know what he's talking about. Go to the next one. Yeah, go to the next one. All right, so now let us look up the meaning of naturalization. Naturalization is the process by which a person acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship. Period. Noble Drew Ali says by you being born here, don't make you a citizen. So that means that once we're born as Moors, or those of you who think that you are black people, you have to go proclaim your nationality or live under quote-unquote Negro laws. The type of laws that say that you can only vote every 25 years when we pass these bills for you to vote. Next slide. Next slide. Now I want to read from our nationality card in the Moorish Science Temple of America. It says, this is your nationality and identification card for the Moorish Science Temple of America and birthrights for the Moorish Americans, etc. We honor all the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. May the blessings of the God of our fathers, Allah, be upon you that carry this card. I do hereby declare that you are a Muslim under the divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go to the next slide, brother. Now, hit the slide. If you can see underneath here, it says that the Moorish Science Temple of America derives its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. This represents our legal basis to stand here and represent as a nation. Go to the next slide, brother.
Lord, 10 minutes.
Go to the, click it again. Prophet Muhammad is honored on the U.S. Supreme Court building, and the Quran of Mecca is viewed as a legal document in the eyes of national and international law. This is just the actual fact. Go to the next slide. Now, this comes from the documents of the United Nations Conference on International Organization, San Francisco, 1945. Go ahead, beloved. It says that the Muslim legal system is a system of unquestionable originality. Its autonomy is evident as a legal system largely governed by the distinctive character of a social community, very different from that in which other legal systems have reached normative maturity. The International Congress on Comparative Law, which was held at The Hague in 1932, decided that Muslim law is an entirely independent source of comparative law. It would go on to say that Muslim law was an autonomous legal system which did not depend on any other established systems. So when you want to know, again, people, I came here to teach today. I simply came here to teach. If you want to know where our power is at, where our authority is at, our power and our authority is right in the nation of Moors, the clean and pure nation of Moors, the Moorish Science Temple of America. Next slide. Again, we see court findings that show that the courts recognize that the Moorish Science and the MSTA is a bona fide religion. Now we're getting into the Jew society. This means that they have to respect our laws. They have to respect everything that we do as a nation. It's just so long as it's not violating the law, like a lot of the dirty laws that y'all see doing, squatting on houses and things of that nature. That stuff is not Moorish science at all. It doesn't represent a nation. Next slide. Here we have newspaper clippings that shows and proves that when Muslims were keeping their children home from school on Fridays and the courts got wind of it and the mothers got arrested, that the judges ruled that the Bronx court recognizes that Muslim Sabbath rules pupil needs not go to school on Fridays. And this is coming out of the New York Times, February 9th, 1934. You know, this is just some of the proof that I bring to you all to show that I don't have to make you laugh or smile or joke. I'm just going to represent the facts. Next slide. Again, we have the same case being cited in the Border City Star, June 1st, 1934. Mohammedan Tots, get Fridays off. This is dealing with the Moorish Science Temple of America, a Grand Sheik, Frederick Turner L., who went to bat on behalf of the Moors. Next slide. Council comes to aid of Moore on gun charge. Albany Evening News, July 7, 1936. In 1956, Dwight D. Eisenhower closed down all of the Council of Courts and all of their particular jurisdictions in Morocco. But before then, the Moorish Science Temple of America represented our sheiks, represented the very councils that you hear spoken about in these treaties that a lot of these Moors try to stand on. Next slide. Fez, no hat, and so may be worn in court. Again, you see any Moor that can go in the courtroom with their fez on. These are the laws that protect us. These are laws that are put together that have to be recognized by the courts. These are the laws of the Juru Society. Remember what Nation said. It said having the same customs. And these are a part of the customs of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Again, we bring the proof. Next slide. This is another court case where the judge, more recently, is saying the same thing. A Sikh is turning, a Muslim woman up to door, or more his fez. Next slide.
Peace, everyone. All right, my job is to refute what he said and continue my statements. I want to start off first with understanding that he's right. This is a classroom. However, he cannot step around what I said earlier, and if he tries to, I wrote down every point that I made that we discussed. The first one is, this is Lord Abba's actual card, all right? And if you notice, you'll see the word citizen there is in capital letters, but most often when you look at the Moorish Science Temple cards, you'll see the word citizen capitalized. That is what we call a proper noun. And that's going to be very important as we continue with this discussion on whether they talk proper law. Now pay attention. All right. Here are all of the listed statuses in the Constitution. Besides these statuses right here, there are none mentioned, which means you can go through the United States Constitution and see that there's a place for free persons, which will prove associated with white males, and that white males was not a status, it was a race. That's important because Moors teach you that it's only a status that has nothing to do with how you look physically. The second one is United States citizen, capital C, for people who were in the District of Columbia at the time the Constitution was written. The next one is Indians or Aboriginals, which is, we have the article there, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, and we'll define what Aboriginal meant to the people when they wrote it. Next, we have indentured servant, 3/5 of a person. Next, in 1868, we have this one where you become a subject citizen of the United States. So what Abba is not going to get into detail about is what is the difference between a native or natural-born citizen and a 14th Amendment citizen. One came in 1791, one came in 1868. They can only show what they got from white people. All right, now, listen, let's keep reading. Free white persons. Now this is what they try to do. They get real slick. They say, well, we're not white persons, we're free white persons. Because Moors are free white persons. Check this out. So, free white persons referred to in the Nationalization Act, meaning all persons belong to the who? European races. Wow. They're commonly counted as white and their descendants in those countries. Now, no, we're not going to stop. Don't who's and ours. That's one point. So, he can never come up here and say, this don't deal with race. He can't do it. And we can define what race is just in case you want to play games with that too. It includes European Jews. That's all kind of Jews on the planet. You got Falasha Jews. You got African Jews. You got, all kind of Jews in the Middle East. Why did they take the time to make sure that they say European Jews? Because they talk about white people. They ain't say Hebrew Israelites.
Right.
They ain't say Jews from the Middle East. They say European Jews. They want to make sure that you know. All right? Then it goes on to say all these people. Now this is what they try to use. It includes the mixed. These people are mixed. Mixed Latin, mixed Celtic Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. So that's what they try to use to say that the Moors have a right to be free white persons. However, this dictionary was written in the late 18th century. It don't say Moors in Africa. It don't say Moors in Harlem. It don't say Moors in Georgia. It said Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. Go back to 1890 and find me the blacks who were in Spain and Portugal calling themselves Moors. No, they're Moriscos now. They're mixed. So now you got people who come from Spain right now who can become free white persons because they have adopted the word Moors. Now I'm going to prove to you that white people want to classify themselves as Moors. And they've been working on it. Hold on, no. Hold on. Don't laugh at me. I know. Yeah, I know. You know who this is, right? No. This is the brother of Champollion who translated the Rosetta Stone. Right? And he comes up into Africa, and in order to tie themselves back into Africa, they come up with this slick language that later becomes the language of the Moorish Science Temple. Now, look, this is his quote. This is in African Origin of Civilization by Sheikh Anta Diop, who quotes this particular man. This is the first time I saw this, what he said. It is recognized that the inhabitants of Africa belong to three races quite distinct from each other. Now, I'm not saying I'm agreeing with this. This is their opinion that began to grow for all time. One, Negroes proper in Central and West Africa. Two, Kafirs on the East Coast who have a less obtuse facial angle than blacks and a high nose but thick lips and woolly hair. So now you declassify them as Negroes, but they got thick lips and woolly hair. What you doing? Then you're going to say, the third, Moors, similar in stature, physiognomy, and hair to the best formed nations of Europe. Wow. This is them trying to tie themselves back in. And Western Asia, and differing only in skin color, which is tanned by the climate. The ancient population of Egypt belonged to this latter race, the Moors. That is, to the white race. So now, Moors being white, this is 1839, started with a European. I want you to think about this now. Think about it. Hold on. That's a sidebar. Listen, we need more time. All right. The prophet called you Asiatics, right? Didn't he call you Asiatics? He called you Asiatics. Now I'm gonna go back to this because this is a clip from the one I just read. Let me just go up to it and show you. Put this down for a second. So you want look. A Syrian of what? Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. Come on, man, what you talking about? Wow. You Asiatics? Aren't you Asiatic? Huh? Yes. Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a natural born citizen. Let me go and show you where I got it from, so you don't think I'm making it up. This is the free white person. A Syrian of Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. See, my point is, you start playing with the white man and you want to trick him and get into his law. That nigga got all kind of traps in that shit. He got all kind of, he gonna collapse you in that. Oh, you gotta read Black's Law Dictionary. Then you get version 9, 10, and 11 and change everything from 1, 2, and 3. Now you gotta update. Now we gotta change this Circle 7 because the white man said so. Come on. Now look at this. This is the original 13th Amendment, section 12. All right? It says the traffic in slaves for Africa is hereby forever permitted on the pain of death and the forfeiture of all rights and property of persons engaged therein, and the descendants of Africans shall not be citizens. Then Circle 7 says that the world may hear and know of the truth that among the descendants of Africa there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of men of the love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Damn, if we're the descendants of Africans, damn, you said you studied the law, you didn't know that the original 13th Amendment said Africans shall not be citizens? Oh, okay. That's just the beginning. Look, African Naturalization Act of 1870. See, this is what I was trying to tell him, Abba. I was trying to tell that brother that naturalization differs depending on your race. White people can naturalize and become real citizens. Africans naturalize and become subjects. That's how the white man set it up. I didn't make it up. This is Section 6 of the Naturalization Act of 1870. And look what it says in Section 7. And be it further enacted that the naturalization laws are hereby extended to aliens of African nativity and to persons of African descent. Now why did it happen in 1870? Because it came after let's see, this is 1868. 1868 was the 14th Amendment. It came post the Civil War. They were trying to figure out what we're going to do with the Negro. All right? Lincoln decided that he wanted to set up a colony where blacks could have their own independent state. They popped them off. Boop! You done. Get out of here. Let's get him out of here. All right? Then the white boys came and said, look, we got a new scheme. We're going to make the niggas federal subjects. That's the only way they can get in. So if they don't go for themselves, they'll forever be our subjects. Now, rewind back, because this is a classroom. Didn't I show you Edward Wilmot Blythe at the same time telling you to get back to your African nationality? At the same time they created this little on the read? What does it say? All persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens, lowercase, of the United States and the state wherein they reside. They're subjects. They're subjects. Look, he's telling me I'm trying to fleece the people. I have a budget that I have to deal with, and I won't be like the prophet. I got to come down. In September, if I don't run again, I'm done. I go back to not fleecing the people through some dues. I'm a naturopath. I work. My wife is here right here. She knows how hard I work in the community. In ISIS, in ARNA, and outside of ARNA. So you say, I'm fleecing the community, but look at what you're doing. All dues given to the temple are tax deductible. How in the hell are you going to have a tax deductible nation inside the United States claiming independence? This is your website. All dues given to the temple are tax deductible. You can have these dues deducted on your taxes during tax season. Which means your entity must be a 501c3 registered with the government. No, and I have the proof. No, wait. This is from 1929, where the city of Chicago said the Moors faced loss of their charter. How in the hell is a city going to take the charter from a nation? Can Chicago go cancel the charter of China, Russia, or any independent state? So you're saying you're a nation, but you got a charter that a city can suspend. That they talked about suspending when you got into your Noble Drew Ali fiasco. But look, don't take Abba's word for it. Go straight to the Circle 7 Quran. It says, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. That's Noble Drew Ali's words. Right? He's trying to say it's still a nation. But look, if it's chartered in Illinois, look at what the Supreme Court says. Bank of the United States versus Bank of Georgia. The court held, as a member of a corporation, a government never exercises its sovereignty. As a member of a corporation, a government never exercises its sovereignty. It acts merely as corporator, and further that, when a government becomes a partner in any trading company, it divests itself so far as concerning the transactions of that company of its sovereign character. Right on your website, you prove that you're doing trade business with the IRS, which means your entity is defunct. Wow. This is your institution, not mine. All right, and I'm gonna come to honor in a minute. All right, look at the prophet. Look at what he says. This is the prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be very careful of propaganda that you hear. Look, I'm gonna go down a little bit. This letter is to be read. There's a certain movement from the churches to destroy our movement and dishonor me that have men paid both Europeans and Asiatics, and any outside letter that you receive, let me know the message, then I will know that you are a Moor, and I favor Moors. We Moors must stand in unity. We stand together according to deeds and actions and not to words of lips. This letter is to be read to the temple. The 8th of January is my birthday. That will be our Christmas. Didn't I tell you the nobles had to protect Jesus secretly? That will be our Christmas, and all presents are to be sent on that day. I look forward to all faithful Moors to send me a present on that day. God damn, he had like 10,000 followers. He gonna get 10,000 gifts?
5 minutes on it.
And I'm releasing the people?
Santa Claus. 5 minutes.
He's Santa Claus. He changed his birthday to Christmas. Now let's take a moment of silence.
5 minutes.
Hey! 5 minutes, Ali.
Look. We, as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry to the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion. So now you institute a Christmas, but you're not serving the gods of Europe. when the God of Christmas is Jesus, the fiction. Therefore, we are returning Christianity, church and Christianity back to the European nations. How the hell are you going to return Christianity back to the European nations when you have 19 chapters on a fictitious Roman God named Jesus in your circle 7 Quran? Are you kidding me? Like, what is this? Hold on. All right, so Jesus is missing. He's on the lunchbox. He didn't tell you, your teachers didn't tell you that the original black Messiah was Amenhotep III in Kemet. This is the book. Get this book. How come he's an Egyptian of death and he taught you Indian messianic worship? Look at this. Go to the walls. You'll see it. That's Mutawiyah and Amenhotep having their son Amenhotep III. Look. We can discuss that later. This is her. Mary Hatshepsut, Mutawiyah, with the first immaculate conception. Why the hell do you follow Indians who are supposed to be against Islam? Look.
Turn this shit up.
Christmas? Are you kidding me?
Turn this motherfucker up, man.
Come on, I know I'm running out of time. I gotta get through this. Listen. So, this is a quote from Lord Abba. 3 years ago. Now, Lord Abba is a cybermore. A cybermore is, they only come out online on Facebook and YouTube. He never been before audience because he don't do nothing in the community but argue on Facebook. But after he castigated my family in the public with some frauds who are literally on crack who he admitted were cocaine heads, Cheyenne and whatever his name, he came back on my radio show and said, Islam, can you hear me? I said, yes sir, I can hear you. What's going on, brother? I said, what's going on, God? I'm maintaining. Yeah, let me say right quick, I was definitely one of those Moors over there at Burkish that you know didn't have that virtue and that morality etched in my fiber. That's you admitting you was a dirty Moor. With no evidence, you accused me of being a dirty Moor and you used some trumped up case to do it, which I'm going to disprove after that, had nothing to do with me or the society that we in. So then, he goes on to say, now he's trying to be a better man. If you're trying to be a better man, why in the hell are you chasing me on social media just to get me in a room and talk to some people about some shit that you don't even know what you're talking about? Why are you doing that? We Canaanites? Are we Canaanites? Are we Canaanites? Canaan was a state like the United States of America, composed of indigenous people and white people. And Canaan was too. Canaan was composed of all kinds of mixed people. Canaan is not a people, it's a goddamn ancient state in Israel. A network where it was black folks there, white folks there, Arabs there. How are we going to be Canaan? You're going to skip over all of the dynasties in West Africa, the Ghana dynasty, Mali, and say we Canaanites? No, that ain't it. Then you got the Canaanites on the wall. Which one are you, Abba? Huh? Which one are you? You need to be here or here. You all the way over here with some niggas who ain't even related to you. How are you a Canaanite? An Arab? Like, this is confusion. This is what these teachings represent. Look, this is them. This is who Abba says he's a Canaanite. 1 minute. He's a Canaanite. This is Abba, these are your answers.
Those are free white men.
Look, the genetic data shows the Canaanites or the Arabs or the Philistines will fall into classifications D or E. The A and B all represent the African races. I'm going to come up to this in the last 5 minutes to show you. You're not a Canaanite, dude. You're a black man in America trying to figure out how the hell to deal with these white people. So what you decided to do is become a white man. Become a white man. That's the last thing that we do. All right. So I'm going to close with some points, but listen. I want to put this presentation.
You ready, Abba? You ready?
I can close. Time. There you go. Because I need to be right there. Because I'm going to deal with this white thing in a minute. Peace.
Let's give it up for Captain Ali Muhammad. Shots have been fired. Shots have been fired. We will keep it clean. It was a clean round. Yeah. It was clean. If you don't agree with my applause, it's the brother Captain Ali Muhammad stay on top. That's what it's all about. Now, coming to the stage, Lord Abba. 25 minutes in this round, then we're going to go for a break. Make sure you support the vendors out here, brothers and sisters. They are here for you. All right? Remember, the main event is what's really good right now. The main event is what's really going to be on. We got Cyrus Super Secretary General, and we got the Hebrew Israelite coming all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. So you know he's going to put in that work. The first opening round, y'all going to see what I'm talking about. You know if you're scared, back up. Back up. Get under your couch, hide a little bit. You know, but there's going to be some fireworks. Trust and believe that. Lord Abba, time is running. We can't hold nobody's time because we got to go on with setting them and on the dot. So you cut your time.
Coming right now, beloved.
All right, but you cutting your time, brother, because we got to, remember I told you, we got to respect the time. Y'all don't want me to cut SETI, do y'all? No. All right, so we can't cut the main event, goddammit. We got to get it right, Lord Abba. Let's give it up for Lord Abba, family.
This song. Oh, man, I don't know where to start with this, brother. I mean, y'all eating it up. I'm glad y'all being entertained. Again, I am not here to entertain you. I am not here to make you laugh. It's not what I'm here to do. And most of the stuff that this brother is talking about, bringing up definitions of free white persons that are outdated, that are not in use today, he knows that you do not know about these things. And this is why he feeds it to y'all, to get around the prophet. Jesus was a brother, just like us. So for him to get up here and use this sideways deception just to get you all a cheer, it just shows you what type of brother this is. Next slide. Now, let's get into the topic. Let's get into the topic. These are the racial classifications of Federal Directive 15. American Indian or Alaskan Native, Asian or Pacific Islander, Black, Hispanic, and white. Again, people, I'm here to teach y'all, not here to entertain you. And it gives you a breakdown of all of these nations. When it gets to black, it says any of the racial groups from Africa. When it gets to white, it says any of the racial groups from Europe, Arabia, and Africa. North Africa. North Africa. Why? Does it have anything to do with skin color, as my opponent tried to make y'all believe? See, he knows that y'all do not know that these racial classifications are simply based on a first, second, and third class caste system. He knows this, but he knows that you do not know it. And this is what he does to get a rise out of you all. Next slide. If anybody was black, or if anybody was white, this is how they would look. My vest is black. I'll pay anybody in this audience $50 right now if they can come up here and match their skin tone to this vest. If you call yourself black. Anybody. Anybody. Next. Now, this book right here is a seminal work because it's called The Invention of the White Race by Theodore W. Allen, The Origin of Racial Oppression in Anglo-America. In this book, it defines how these Europeans got together and started calling themselves white people. They never called themselves it. Not on this land. Not on this land. And this man exposes this fact. You see the myth maker, he knows this. He knows all about this information. But he knows that you don't know it. And he uses that to his advantage. So y'all can cheer. Go ahead, Ali. Next. On the back of the book,
It's Mike.
we read.
Let me get it.
On the back of the book, whoa, okay. We read, when the first African Africans arrived in Virginia in 1619, there were no white people there. Nor, according to the colonial records, would there be for another 60 years. Historical debate about the origin of racial slavery has focused on the status of the Negro in the 17th century Virginia and Maryland. However, as Ted Allen argues in his magisterial work, what needs to be studied is the transformation of English, Scottish, Irish, and other European colonists from their various statuses as servants, tenants, planters, or merchants into a single, new, all-inclusive status, that of whites. There's no such thing as white people. Noble Drew Ali said that the act of giving us the label of Negro, black, and colored, that was an act of European psychology. So was the act of calling themselves white. And now you all believe that this man is a white man. You could take a white piece of paper and put it right next to his skin and see that he is not white. He is pale. Actual fact. Next slide. This is a book, Free Blacks of Lynchburg, Virginia, where speaking about these very racial origins, we're speaking about what the records have to say. Next slide. It says, another important concern is that those people labeled as black or colored in the documentary record were often as much Indian or European as African and may not have had any African ancestry at all. No rounds of applause? None? Because that's the facts right there. That the records show that Europeans whom you call white on this land were also called black, because black is a subject status. Next slide. Next slide. In the book, The Invention of the White Race, he gives breakdowns. After about 1680, taking the colonies as a whole, a new term appeared, white. Next slide. The commentator speaks. He says, during my own study of page after page of Virginia County records, reel after reel of microfilm prepared by the Virginia Colonial Records Project and other 17th century sources, I have found no instance of the official use of the word white as a token of social status before its appearance in a Virginia law passed in 1691 referring to English or other white men. No white people. It's an invention. You are all here under an illusion. You are all here under a spell of sleep. There's no such thing as black or white people. Look at your own selves. Look down at your skin if you dare to, and then say that it's black. Next slide. Next slide. This is Mustafa Heffer. This man came from Egypt in 1996. You see, this is proof I'm bringing to y'all today. Facts, not a bunch of ill-sourced information, a bunch of information about what I said when I was over in another fringe Moorish group. I mean, that's corny, beloved. We dealing with the facts. This man came from Egypt in 1996, lived in Detroit, and applied for a black business loan from the SBA, or the Small Businesses Association. He got turned down. They told him that you cannot waltz in from Africa just claiming to be black. We gotta dig deeper into this thing. Under the federal racial classifications, this brother or any brother that comes from North Africa or any brother that comes from Egypt will be classified as white. These are the laws. These are the rules. Again, I did not come here to entertain you. I came here to teach you today. Next slide. For the federal directive, it tells you that these classifications should not be interpreted as being scientific or anthropological in nature. My opponent will tell you he's a biologist. This is what he says. But he'll gloss over something like this to make his point, because he got to keep eating. This is his livelihood. He gotta come up there and be comedic and make points that are irrelevant to this particular discussion, so you can clap and laugh and everybody say, oh, Ali getting at it. But he's not bringing no facts. Next slide. Take it again, beloved. Next. Now, this is taken off the PBS website. Race, the power of an illusion. 1680, it breaks down where white first appears in colonial laws. Facts. These are the facts, people. Just go to the next slide. I'm not going to read all of this because the time is short. But what's happening here is they're breaking down how these Europeans got together. How they got together and said, we must suppress these Negroes. We must suppress these blacks. We must suppress these Moors. They can never find out about who they are. And in order to do that, those Europeans that we are calling black, we have to include them in our upper echelon system. And we have to make them white along with us. And they'll begin to oppress them as well. You see, these are the facts. The facts. Next slide. Next slide. What about white meaning God? You know, a lot of brothers got up in arms. They said Noble Drew Ali. What you said, Seti? He was teaching the white racial Arab. Noble Drew Ali says, what title does Satan give himself? God. Next title. Next slide. Noble Drew Ali says, can you define white? White means purity, and purity means God, and God means the ruler of the land. I just showed y'all in the previous slides where these Europeans got together and took on the title of God. Took on the title of God. So Noble Drew Ali brought the facts. He said that these people are not white. For this is the title of God. And he just said in the previous question and answer, what title does Satan give himself? For those of y'all that gotta be satisfied with me calling the European the devil, or Noble Drew Ali for that matter. Next slide. Here, the Odroa tribe of the Lubara of Zaire and Uganda, when describing their gods, they give you a breakdown of a draw. They say that his good and bad aspects are depicted as two half bodies. The evil one is short and cold black, while his good aspect is tall and white. You see, they're not living under the same illusion that you all are living under. They understand that these classifications like white and black do not deal with the people. They simply deal with the caste. They simply deal with the status. Black has always represented evil. 10 minutes. Always. Next slide. Here is Obatala. Everybody's familiar, or should be familiar with Obatala. What do they call Obatala? King of the white cloth, or the white god. Let's show and prove. Next slide. The priestess and the priest, they wear white in honor of Obatala to show that they are representing purity when they come together and congregate. Next slide. We're going to come from the website of the Arthur Hall collection on Ile Ife. Next slide. Now he gives his breakdown about Obatala and the Orishas. And he says that the Orisha, Obatala, is central to the creation myth of the ancient Yoruba cultures of West Africa, where he is also manifest in the white gods of creativity and justice. Orinshala, Oshala, Oshagayan, Oshalafun, Orisha Oko, and Oshofunfun. So here we see that the Yoruba, these people that look just like us, view their gods as pure, view them as white. Again, you are all under an illusion. I'm just here to show you the way. Next slide. It says the gentle Obatala is associated with honesty, purpose, purity, peace, the new year, forgiveness, etc., etc. It says white is most appropriate for Obatala, as it contains all the colors of the rainbow, yet is above them. Obatala is also the only Orisha that has both male and female patterns. When you take a white light and you shine it through a prism, 7 colors will manifest. This represents the combination of all the colors in existence right here. You see the white light? It represents Obatala. It represents God. Again, let me stress, I am not here to entertain you. I am here to bring you the facts. Next slide. These are the references, sources for everybody that, you know, YouTube land. Hopefully y'all get enough time to see all of that. We'll go to the next one. Okay, now black according to science means death. My opponent has an issue with this. But here we see the great Al-Haj Malik Al-Shabazz breaking it down. It's all good, it's all good. Now, go ahead, go back. Keep going. Keep going. All right, we're going to bring up the works of our scholar. Click it again. Dr. Wesley Muhammad and the piece that he did on Allah and all of the modern Islam and Ife as sibling rivalries. I got to show y'all these things so that y'all will leave here with an understanding of what it is that we teach in the Moorish Science Temple of America. You see, he showed y'all a bunch of images of Canaanites. I have those images, but it was too much to pull up and prepare and try to listen to the same things that he was, counter some of the things that he was trying to say. So let's see what our brother Wesley says. His research, according to the Bayajida tradition, the Yoruba and the Hausa share a paternal grandfather. This is consistent with the claim made in Yoruban and Barawan tradition that the grandfather is none other than Namudu Lamarudu, who is shared not only by the Yoruba and Boru traditions, but by the Hausa as well. During the annual Gani festival, the daughter, which according to Derek Lange is a royal reenactment of the Bayajida legend, the king is followed in procession by drummers who drum special beats signifying the words Lamarudu, son of Cain. You see, the Yoruba tradition, and I just showed y'all Obatala, who represents the white god. The Yoruban traditions themselves posit that they came from ancient Canaan and settled in West Africa. Noble Drew Ali says that the Moorish Americans or the Moabites are those who settled on the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, particularly the southwestern shores where most of our people are taken from. DNA proves that the majority of our bloodline is Yoruban, 63.7%. This means we all in this room descend from the ancient land of Canaan in some forms or fashion. It's just an actual fact. Again, I did not come here to entertain you. I simply came here to drop facts. He goes on to say, he's given a breakdown. Okay, we find the tradition of West African groups originating in/with Canaan in several early Islamic sources, each inspired by the Table of Nations in Genesis. Ibn Qutayba, in his Kitab al-Ma'arif, records a report according to which black Canaan, son of Ham, son of Noah, fathered the Sudan, quote-unquote black people of West Africa, the Kazan, Fazan, and the Zagawa. He notes Al-Tabari likewise lists Canaan. Canaan's sons as Luba, Al-Zanj, Fazan, and Zagawa. According to Al-Masudi, Canaan's son, Cush, went west, crossed the Nile. Some of his descendants are West African groups like the Zagawa and the Kanini. Muhammad Bello, son and successor of Usman Dan Fodio, who founded the Sokoto Caliphate of northern Nigeria, wrote in fact Al-Masur in 1812. In it, Bello represents his understanding of the origin of the Yoruba. He says, the inhabitants of this province, Yoruba, it is supposed originated from the remnants of the children of Canaan, who were of the tribe of Nimrod. The cause of their establishment in the west of Africa was, as is stated, in consequence of their being driven by Yeroboam, son of Catan, out of Arabia to the western coast between Egypt and Abyssinia. These are the facts. This is what I came here today to let you all know. That we in the Moorish Science Temple of America, we deal with the facts. We don't have to make up stuff. We don't have to concoct pictures or Photoshop images. We simply have the facts and can back up everything that we teach, as I have done here today. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Now, how much time? Noble Drew Ali says, in all reality, in our original 101, what is a Negro? Answer, a Negro is a four-legged animal. Next slide. In the updated 101, Prophet Noble Drew Ali says, what is meant by the word Negro? Answer, Negro, a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors because it contained black water. So here, Prophet Noble Drew Ali is equating, factually, the word Negro and the word black. Next slide. Thank you, brother. This is David Walker, an outspoken abolitionist and anti-slavery activist. He said, Niger is a word derived from the Latin, which was used by the old Romans to designate inanimate beings, which were black.
All right, 5 minutes. Give it up for Lord Abba.
Look, people, let me talk to y'all for a second. The reason why I'm here is because it's time for our minds, our great minds, our great thinkers to come together. This is what I stand up here and represent to y'all today. That's why I broke my bank and brought this expensive suit so I can look good in front of y'all today. Real talk. Now, we are dealing with a national crisis with our people. It is not getting any better. It's getting worse. Point blank, period. And there can only be, and this is my opinion, there can only be one way that we move as a people. Yelling and ranting and screaming and raving in front of these cameras, I'm sorry, beloved, it's just not going to cut it. We can still put on our presentation. We can still put on our presentation and demonstrate and debate. This is what intellectuals are supposed to do. But when do we come together as a people and say, yo, let me look at what this brother, Sheepway L, aka Lord Abba, is talking about. Let me look at what the Moorish Science Temple of America is talking about. Not the mother Moors.
Go ahead, Lord.
We see that them brothers,
Go ahead, Lord.
I mean, that stuff fell on its face. I showed you the ISIS demonstration. I mean, let's be honest. That's just not real. But I'm not going to discount the brother. Think this brother has a sharp mind.
Go ahead.
We are the political party called the Moorish American Party. And we would love to have this brother as a representative. We might need to spend on it. You know, I had to throw that one in there. He's good at spending the information. We might need to spend on it, just in case. But we do have a political party. We have a system set up. We have a system set up to bring our people into the truth about themselves. Don't tell me, well, we need to stay over here, we need to stay over there. I get contacted by prisons all across this nation. You got some brothers that sit here, they get guap off this, if I can use a street term, they get guap off this conscious community. Well, let's draw up operating agreements, polite. Let's put these contracts together. And let's build, let's get organic toothpaste and soaps and literature to our brothers in the prison. You see, that's what I came here today to represent. I came here to drop the facts. I didn't come here to entertain. I came here to drop the facts and simply show and prove that what Noble Drew Ali brought is all wise, right, and exact. Period. It cannot be refuted. That's why I stand here. It cannot be refuted. If that's what you believe, beloved, praise the Lord. Now, when we leave this lecture or this debate, do we go back to our little corner and get back on YouTube and Facebook, and I mean, look, I'm not gonna come all the way to Harlem to teach a class about nothing every week. It's not gonna happen. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if I can find a sharp brother in this community to run for city councilman of his district. I'm gonna see if we can then move that brother into the office of mayor and possibly the office of governor. Now we can start bringing jobs to our communities. This is what's real. This is what consciousness should be about. This is what elevation should be about. That's what's real. The rest is good entertainment. And for those of you who were entertained, I'm glad that y'all were. It's not what I was here for. So with that, I yield the rest of my time and say peace. Wait, somebody said we heard that before. Wait a minute. The brother that said that, when we get finished, let's walk outside and not stop talking until we come up with a resolution on how to move forward together. Let's see if you heard that before. Peace.
All right, don't go nowhere because we're gonna have a question and answer at the end. All right. First of all, I want to say, Brother Polite in the new covenant do give support to the prison systems and to the youth organizations that's out there. I want to say that, but see, most of the time that's not on the camera. See, the camera is not rolling when the brother's going into the penitentiary, giving youth support and doing lectures in the youth prisons. All right, so I got to say that. All right. Now we got to give our brother King Simon, King Productions. Let's give our brother a round of applause as well. King Simon, man, the hardest working man in show business, man. Besides me. All right, now bring it back to the stage, Dr. Ali Muhammad.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, give him a little time. Give him a little time. All right, so I want to say that Brother Polite do work off the camera that y'all don't see, and we're going to film it. When we supposed to be going out there this time?
Next one is next week, Brownsville, a prison in Brownsville that they built right next to people's houses.
There you have it. Give it up for that brother, man. And he's giving us out. He's giving us to. All right, so there you go.
I want to start this off by showing this and showing that Lord Abba made some crucial mistakes. He read from Federal Directive 15 from 1977. And he said these classifications should not be interpreted as being scientific or anthropological in nature. Should not be classified as scientific. Then he put a quote up and said, from Noble Drew Ali saying, black according to science means death. So which one is it? His entire confused presentation and the whole doctrine, because it's rooted in what the white man says, the white man can switch it. He accuses me of not being on time, and he has to adjust his doctrine to fit Noble Drew Ali sometimes. Sometimes the white man is, I mean, come on, man. Let me go further. Check this out. Since white was started by, excuse me, I gotta put this down. White was started by Europeans. Let's test that. First, he put a prism up there and said white had 7 frequencies, and that the white light is the real light. This is a white man who had 25 years as a truck driver, who had light shining on one side of his face for 25 years. He got something called dermatoheliosis, which is a form of cancer where the white light is killing his ass. So I want to understand how, according to science, this white light affects white people like this. It's not making sense. Here you have somebody with vitiligo. He's actually turning white. Now, is white something to be used or it's not to be used? You can't tell me that we're neither black nor white and tell me you're a free white person. If we're neither, then drop both of them. Why have the need to be a free white man just to try to get in a classification that's going to get you a 501c3? I don't even know what it's giving you actually. So this is vitiligo where your white blood cells are eating your black melanin. This is science. This is the Egyptians at King Tut's funeral not wearing black but wearing white. like you do today, they decided to put on white to represent his death. So if it was an act of European psychology, the act of European psychology was to attack your phenotype, how you look, how you feel about yourself. It wasn't just some goddamn Black's Law dictionaries. They want you to feel disassociated from the very root of how your Creator created you.
There you go.
Look, you see it? So now, this is the civilization that gave birth to the Europeans. So don't give me no late civilization that might not be on point. Give me the mothers and fathers when they had their rule. Nigeria is under European domination. This is not a time where Europeans dominated. Well, let's keep going. Hold on. I ain't gonna let you get away. Is anybody black? See, we're sick. I'm a biologist. We're supposed to look like this. This is how you're supposed to look. Sisters, this is how you're supposed to look. We know how important our black divinity is. It don't matter. We can call ourselves whatever name we want to call ourselves. We have our own nation. But you want me to play chess inside of a goddamn trap chessboard. Hold on. What color is the seed? Black. Black according to science means death. Hold on. You say you a Muslim? Look. This is the early Muslims. The Europeans call the Muslims black. But they weren't ruling these Muslims. But you say, according to Europeans, black really means white. And white really means black. But the Europeans called us black. Would that mean we were white? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Look, this is from your Holy Quran. What's created from black blood. That's your Holy Quran. Now you done went to some other stuff? Some European stuff? This is the Holy Quran in Surah 2102, where it says, the day when the trumpet will be blown. Look at what Yusuf Ali translated it as in Muhammad Ali. Yusuf Ali said guilty blear-eyed. Muhammad Ali said blue-eyed. But the word eye don't appear there. The word there is azraq. Azraq means pale. You insulted them, the family of Muhammad. This is from Al-Jami. Because of their blackness, aswad, while they are still pure-blooded, black-skinned Arabs. However, you are pale or azraq or white. These are the Muslims, the early Muslims. All right? Muhammad, his family was considered black. How you gonna practice Islam and practice a pale Persian, pale Arab version and not even know that your ancestors came on the scene when the Romans, white Romans was ruling, the white Byzantines was ruling, and the white Persians was ruling, and started a black power doctrine and put that shit in a suitcase for 40 years. They put Rome in a suitcase in 40 years. Now you coming to go against the doctrine, saying your charter comes from the Holy Quran of Muhammad, when the Holy Quran of Muhammad promotes black divinity? It's too much, man. We can't even get into this, man. Listen, and Prophet Noble Drew Ali giving out Christmas gifts. Hold on, real quick. He got the Christmas gifts. First you lied on Garvey. I ain't had a chance to get that. Said you knew Garvey and lied. 1 minute. But look, this is the man that funded Noble Drew Ali. His name is Daniel Jackson. He was a prominent politician. And he faced the trial. Look at what it says. Second Ward Committeeman and member of the Illinois State Commerce Commission, who was named with an ex-alderman, Oscar the Priest, in indictments handed down by special grand jury. Was it Noble Drew Ali who helped Oscar the Priest get in office? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put all this information in a free ebook and give it to everybody. So they're happy for it. Last thing. We all here to work together. But you can't give me no trumped up, white Masonic, pale Arab doctrine and then tell me you got to be a white man to get my salvation. Get the hell out of here.
All right, let's give it up. All right, in this round here, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a 40-minute break. Do what you got to do. We got the food over here. Hot food, good hot food. Make sure you see my brother Rich with all that information. We got the red pill and the blue pill over there with that nourishment. Good information. Brother King, where you at, King? This your part, King Simon. Where you at?
What's created from black blood? Come on. Ali translated it as in Muhammad Ali. Yusuf Ali said guilty blear-eyed. Muhammad Ali said blue-eyed. But the word eye don't appear there. The word there is azraq. Azraq means pale. You insulted them, the family of Muhammad. This is from Al-Jami, because of their blackness, Aswad, while they are still pure-blooded, black-skinned Arabs. However, you are pale or azraq or white. These are Muslims, the early Muslims. All right? Muhammad, his family was considered black. How you gonna practice Islam and practice a pale Persian, pale Arab version and not even know that your ancestors came on the scene when the Romans, white Romans was ruling, the white Byzantines was ruling, and the white Persians was ruling, and started a black power doctrine and put that shit in a suitcase for 40 years. They put Rome in a suitcase in 40 years. Now you coming to go against the doctrine, saying your charter comes from the Holy Quran of Muhammad, when the Holy Quran of Muhammad promotes black divinity? It's too much, man. We can't even get into this, man. Listen, and Prophet Muhammad, Prophet Noble Drew Ali giving out Christmas gifts. Hold on, real quick. He got the Christmas gifts. First you lied on Garvey. I ain't had a chance to get that. Said you knew Garvey, they lied. 1 minute. But look, this is the man that funded Noble Drew Ali. His name is Daniel Jackson. He was a prominent politician. And he faced the trial. Look at what it says. Second Ward Committeeman and member of the Illinois State Commerce Commission, who was named with an ex-alderman, Oscar the Priest, in indictments handed down by special grand jury. Was it Noble Drew Ali who helped Oscar the Priest get in office? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put all this information in a free ebook and give it to everybody, so they're happy for it. Last statement. We all here to work together, but you can't give me no trumped up, white Masonic, pale Arab doctrine, and then tell me you got to be a white man to get my salvation. Get the hell out of here.
All right, let's give it up.